Zelda II, a necessity for gracious living. Or is it? The second entry in the Legend of Zelda series is amongst the most polarizing in the franchise's history. Released in 1987, this video game vastly differed from its predecessor and every Zelda game that would come after it too. Featuring side-scrolling gameplay, a steep difficulty curve, an experience points and levelling up system like in a more traditional RPG, this has helped result in many gamers considering this title as the black sheep of the Zelda family. Despite having so many so-called shortcomings, Zelda II still remains a favourite of many, and to be fair to these people, the game has its fair share of incredible moments, such as the first ever emergence of Dark Link. In fact, looking beyond Zelda II's rough edges, a lot of people argue that an all-time classic can be found. A case can be put forward that the foundations found within the first 1986 Zelda game have been used repeatedly as a basic blueprint to produce the majority of Zelda games that were to come. However, when it comes to the more controversial second entry, Nintendo didn't build much past the Adventure of Link's groundwork. This may very well be true, but thankfully for all those Zelda II aficionados out there, someone else has, resulting in a game that aimed to fix Zelda II's shortcomings and function as a full-blown sequel to this overlooked chapter in Zelda's past. So with all that said, I am Lady Decade, and this is the story of Zelda II, Amida's Curse. Last week on this channel we looked at the fantastic Legend of Zelda Outlands, a ROM hack of the iconic original game in the series that featured an all-new overworld map, dungeons to explore and more. This experience, functioning as a sequel to the all-time great, essentially delivered more goodness to those who loved the seminal title, but in an entirely new way. Amongst those who would play this one would be an internet user who would go by the name of OK Impala, which had them wondering what would be possible if the same treatment could be given to the less popular Zelda II. In a fantastic turn of events, I spoke directly with OK Impala, the creator of the Zelda II hack that we are spotlighting today, thus providing me with a worldwide exclusive scoop on all there is to know about this intriguing project. Rather fittingly, Impala grew up in a small village in the Netherlands, near beautiful open grass fields and forests. The perfect setting to capture one's imagination, particularly if you're going to grow up to hack Zelda games. When Impala wasn't playing outside and exploring all their nearby fields and forests, the future ROM hacker would be at home playing games on their parents' old Amstrad PC. One of their earliest gaming memories was playing a title known as Castle Adventure, whereby you endlessly explore the castle looking for secrets. Impala states, "In games, I was always curious about what would be around the next corner. Those kinds of games really gripped me as a child. I was thinking about them all day long. What would happen if you beat the giant spider in the basement? How to solve the mystery of the sad fairy?" No one likes a sad fairy. Take Prince Harry for example.
Boom.
Like swathes of European children who grew up gaming on computers, it would only be a matter of time before Impala discovered game consoles too, experiencing the Legend of Zelda on the NES around a friend's house. Impala states, "I was mesmerised by that game. This was like Castle Adventure, but so much larger and better refined. You could explore a grand world with so many secrets to find. We used to roam the world for hours. The game seemed so huge at the time. You could try out so many things that actually worked. I vividly remember little things like finding something hidden behind the waterfall, or you could actually walk through some walls in the dungeons. My love for Zelda started there. Overall, you could say that games captured my heart, and they never left it." Games with interesting worlds and lovable characters would provide the future ROM hacker with some of their fondest memories. These games would give Impala a feeling of excitement, especially when they unearthed secrets. Both of the early Zelda games resonated with them. Soon after, they became a huge fan of the action RPG genre, enjoying games such as Final Fantasy Adventure, Secret of Mana, and Terranigma. The combination of exploration, fantastic storytelling, and great soundtracks fully captured their imagination. They would all function as influential games in creating the Zelda II hack we cover today. Like many who love gaming, later in life OK Impala would stumble across the unique world of ROM hacks. Playing games like Super Mario Bros. 2 Second Run and the fabled Zelda Outlands would leave them intrigued and inspired to create something themselves. They add, documentation was pretty sparse at the time, so I started with simple Dutch translation projects of my favourite NES and SNES games. Shortly after that, I started creating my first ROM hack, which would become Super Mario Kart The Impala Battles, the first Super Mario Kart hack released. These efforts would culminate in a project known as Super Mario Kart Epic Racers, a ROM hack which would surely be an excellent focus for a future video in its own right. One thing that can be said though is that this undertaking was highly challenging, with OK Impala commenting, "The game's code wasn't documented at all, and I was young and inexperienced. Progress was really slow, and real life tended to throw in a wrench from time to time. In the end, it took 17 years to release Super Mario Kart Epic Racers, but I'm really proud of the end result, knowing how much struggle went into that creation." Ooh, 17 years. That's even longer than it's taking GTA 6 to be announced.
I love you!
You're thin! You're irrationally angry! Nothing you say makes any sense!
Despite the struggle, OK Impala was more motivated than ever to start on something new. Fueled by the positive feedback from their previous effort, the quest to create Zelda II Amida's Curse was born, a project that thankfully didn't take 17 years this time around. While on the subject of 17 years, I would really rather it didn't take me that long to reach 100,000 subscribers, so if you enjoyed this video today, please consider hitting that subscribe button so that I can continue to cover unique fan projects like this in the future. As you likely know, the YouTube algorithm pushes whatever is trending, so topics everyone else is talking about basically. This means I'm in a constant struggle to have my own video suggested to you in the first place, which is why it helps me more than anything in the world when you hit that subscribe button, so make sure you click it now. Thank you so much for watching my content, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this one. As stated earlier in the video, OK Impala had always had respect for Zelda II, saying, "I really liked Zelda II as a child and didn't mind that it was so different from Zelda I. I enjoyed the clever temple designs, the fun puzzles in towns to find the wise man, and the explorable overworld. I replayed it several times as an adult and still enjoyed the fast pace of the game a lot. The sword fighting and jumping feel really good, and the world is fun to explore, though I have to admit that the game can be very unfair and frustrating at times, which is a shame because it can overshadow all the good stuff, of which there is a lot. Zelda 2 has a lot of fun mechanics. I was very interested in playing with that and seeing what kind of designs I could come up with using that toolbox. I wanted to make those fun gameplay elements shine and fix the unfair stuff. I think Zelda 2 is a fantastic base to create a fun ARPG on the NES. Impala compares their hack of Zelda 2 to the equivalent of Majora's Mask to Ocarina of Time. It's a darker, grittier sequel to what came before it. The game's introductory scroll outlines that Link finds himself in the mysterious world of Amada. The portal behind him has closed. Why is he here? He doesn't know. The only way is forward. Go, Link! Solve the mystery of Amada, find your way back home. Past this point, it is full speed ahead, adventuring into the unsettling land of Amida. While I won't give away everything about this game so that you can explore it yourself, what I can tell you about this one is that it is very impressive with new features aplenty. OK Impala outlines the game's new graphics are a group effort by Revility, Fortune22, GTM, Darn, Darth Vader X and themselves. The idea was to create a better Link model with a classic look, look. On the overworld, animated tiles from the Famicom Disk System release of Zelda II were re-implemented again, making the overworld look way better and livelier. They would also create several custom overworld tiles to create unique environments. GTM helped them with the new temple designs, giving every temple a new and unique look. Impressive! There were more changes than just this, including with the game's music. The great new entries in the soundtrack for this one were created by Bent Glass Tube. Impala notes: "You will recognise the style of the original game, but the tracks are all brand new. I wanted the music to be a tad more sombre and foreboding in places, while keeping the feeling of adventure. Bent Glass Tube nailed that feeling. He is extremely talented, and I'm very grateful he helped me." When it comes to Zelda II, a complaint often brought forward is obviously the game's difficulty, with at points the game feeling confusing and unfair to new players. For this reason, Impala would completely rebalance things for his hack, bringing forward: "I mainly made the game more fair and rewarding. For example, the original Zelda II had loads of respawning enemies that gave no experience. In Zelda II Amada's Curse, you will get XP for every enemy and won't be endlessly attacked by respawning enemies anymore. I also paid a lot of attention to enemy placement and where to use the really strong ones. Other changes include requirements for levelling up, which were changed. The shield spell can be used more often, and temple stones now give a fixed amount of XP. One of the most important improvements was made to the lives system. Every extra life you find is permanent now, making them much more useful." Clever stuff! Random encounters on the overworld map would also be removed from this one. Impala felt their game should focus on fun and exploration rather than grinding, a core element that anchors every good Zelda game. Impala felt that having random encounters in the game interfered with their objective. By taking them out, they also helped give the game a more modern feel, delivering a smoother player experience. An added technical benefit to this was they could use those extra areas from random encounters they removed and then reuse them to create larger environments in other places of the game. Genius! Clever tricks like this would be developed to make Impala's hack a reality. There were lots of challenges that needed to be overcome to be able to make this dream game. Impala adds: "Zelda II is a pretty glitchy game, and the code has a lot of limitations. I had this giant Excel file in which I planned all of the areas in the game. For example, there is a hard limitation on how many objects you can use for the whole game. That means that every object you use on a screen can't be used anywhere else. Towns and the Wise Man are even more limited in their use, so I had to use all kinds of trickery to create extra temples and towns. On top of that, the game often glitches or crashes when you try to make it do novel things. I was very lucky to get in touch with several experienced ROM hackers who helped me realise some ideas I wanted to implement. Without all the work in the past by hackers to document the code of Zelda II, Amida's Curse wouldn't exist. I would like to take this opportunity to especially thank Tracks, C-France, Shadow1333 and Nyozro for their amazing work on Zelda II. As you can probably see, an extreme amount of love, care and attention to detail was poured into this project, with incredible work being levied at this game. Zelda II was a fun yet imperfect game, with Amida's Curse attempting to build on and somewhat fix its influences' shortcomings. OK Impala is really happy with the feedback they have been getting from players so far, adding: "All the work I put into Zelda II Amida's Curse aimed to give players that childlike feeling of joy again. We all want to relive those fun gaming moments from the past, and Amida's Curse was created to give players just that. A lot of polishing was needed to make this one coherent experience that was also fun to play. I'm happy to see that players recognise that." Past this ambitious effort, the creator of this fine romp continues to toil away to deliver further fun to us. They're working on an exciting project called Ember of Mana, an extensive ROM hack of Final Fantasy Adventure for the Game Boy, another one of OK Impala's all-time favourites. This remarkable undertaking will feature a brand new story, towns, dungeons, music, gameplay elements, full colorization and lots more. This now seasoned ROM hacker promises that people who like Zelda Link's Awakening, Secret of Mana or the original Final Fantasy Adventure will find much to love in Ember of Mana. If you're interested in keeping updated with the progress on this one, be sure to follow OK Impala over on Twitter. Or if you want to be added to their mailing list for updates, you can email them via their website. If you made it to this point in the video, you might want to try Amida's curse for yourself, so links to these things will be locatable via my pinned comment. If you too have created an awesome ROM hack that you feel would be a good fit for this channel, feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. And as mentioned earlier, subscribing helps me more than you realise, so thank you so much to those who chose to do so. Anyway, if you liked this one, you might like my video on The Legend of Zelda Outlands.